What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Us vs. Them YouTube channel. I'm your host, Vince, and we're going to break down the next fight we have for UFC 323. We have Henry Cejudo versus Payton Talbott. Henry Cejudo right now is sitting at a plus 220 underdog, and Talbott's on the other side at a minus 280 favorite. Before we get into the video, if I can remind you guys to like this video, subscribe to our channel, all that bullshit. If you like to bet on UFC fights and bet on MMA, this is a good channel to subscribe to. We're pretty consistent at hitting, but fuck it, let's get into our breakdown. When you look at just the logistics of this fight, first thing you're gonna look at, this is Henry Cejudo's retirement fight. And we've been here before. I know people are saying that, some people are. But this does feel like the real retirement for Henry Cejudo. We saw him retire in 2020 or whatever, right during COVID or right before COVID or whatever the fuck. Retired probably too early after he defended his belt against Dominic Cruz. Took too much time off, and then we've seen him kind of retire several times since then. But this one's real. You could tell, you could just hear it in his voice. This is the end. And typically, when people go into their retirement fights, they don't usually perform. I think Henry Cejudo is going to be exactly one of those people this weekend. I think that they do a really good job of leaving it all out there. But if you look back at like Dustin Poirier, you look back at the Korean Zombie, all these high-level guys that have retired publicly, and it was the retirement fight going into it, they all lost. And I think that might be the case this weekend for Henry Cejudo. So beyond the fact that Talbott will have a youth advantage, he's also going to have a pretty big size advantage too. Let me see what these stats are here real fast. Payton Talbott's going to be taller by 6 inches, and he's also going to have about a 3-inch reach advantage as well. And 3 inches reach isn't a whole heck of a lot, but when it comes to the guy who's probably the better striker and also having that height advantage, I think that's going to definitely play a factor this weekend. Henry Cejudo is really, I think he's known for, when it comes to his striking, for being able to cover a lot of ground and show, and that's what makes him really good, and being able to strike, even though he's obviously a pretty short guy. He's able to cover, come in, enter, touch people, and then evade without getting touched. I think he's going to have a really hard time doing that this weekend against somebody as long and as good at fighting long as somebody like Payton Talbott. Listen, I don't want to seem like I'm just shitting on Cejudo the whole time, because when you look at the past fights that he's had, even though they are losses, they're against the best competition in the world, and they're very competitive. When you look at Payton Talbott right now at this current stage in his career, this is a step down in competition. So I fully expect this to be a competitive fight, and I do think it's going to be a competitive fight. But the reality is, I think it's kind of like two ships passing in the night. This guy's coming in after a long career, and this guy's kind of taking off. And this is the point. If you look at the storylines of this type of fight happens time and time again, where this is the Talbott's fight to lose. And I really think he's going to get it done this weekend. I don't think that he's going to be able to find a finish. Henry Cejudo, is notorious for having that big head and, just a big durable chin, and just good at not getting touched cleanly as well. So I don't think Talbott's going to knock him out inside of 3 rounds. I definitely don't think he's going to find a submission, but I think Talbott's going to be able to get it done. We have seen Talbott get out wrestled before, and then you look at, on paper, you got Henry Cejudo, the Olympic champion wrestler. Obviously, that's potentially on paper a nightmare matchup for him. But when it comes to MMA wrestling, Cejudo is just a different type of fighter than that. He's not really known to be the guy that takes you down and smothers you and controls you on top, especially when it comes to his recent fights. We just haven't seen him do that. So I don't think that option is going to be available for him. I think Cejudo's definitely going to try to wrestle this weekend, and I can even see him getting takedowns. But I don't think he's going to get control time, a meaningful control time on Talbott. I don't think he's going to be able to find the finish with those takedowns. So I think Talbott's just going to win the meaningful parts of the fight, the meaningful parts of the striking exchanges, and he's going to get it done on the scorecards. So for my official prediction, give me Payton Talbott by decision. The line right now for Talbott to win by decision is only plus 105. It's plus 105 for a reason, because it's a very likely outcome. I don't really see the whole lot of value in that, but when it comes to other props on this card, it might be one that we sprinkle in this weekend on the parlay. So stop by and watch our parlay video and see kind of what we do with this fight and how it's going to work its way in. That's all I got for you guys in this breakdown. Stop by for our next one, where we'll break down the main event opener between Jan Blachowicz and Bogdan Guskov. It's going to be a sick fight, but it's kind of another fight where it's fitting our theme, where it's old versus young, that we just saw on this one. So yeah, stop by for that one. Stop by for our parlay video as well, where I'm going to give you the rest of my picks for the upcoming fight, for the upcoming card, and I'm obviously going to give you my parlays that I'm running too. So you can tail them, you can alter them, do whatever you want. But that's all I got for you guys, and I'm rambling now, so I'm the fuck out of here.